Okay, so we're going to take up the test from last week. Let's look at question number 1. Using the above image, which is a column from the periodic table, which statement is true about oxygen, sulfur, and selenium? And you know that this represents the group number, which tells us that all of these are in the same column. They belong to the same group? Yes, they do. They belong to the same period? No, they do not, because a period is a row. The mass number doubles between each element. No, it doesn't quite double there, so you can just eliminate that right there. And the atomic number increases by 8 between each element, in which case that would have to be 24, so that's incorrect. So A is the correct answer. If the atomic number for oxygen is 8, how many protons are in the nucleus of its atom? Okay, and don't forget the atomic number tells you how many protons, so that would be 8. Number 3, elements on the periodic table are listed according to. They're listed according to their atomic number. All those numbers refer to the atomic number, and that was why we did the element key in class, so that we knew that. Examine the section of the periodic table examine the section in the periodic table in the image above. Which element does not occur naturally on Earth? And if you recall, when we did our element key, we looked at solids, liquids, and gases, which would be represented by these little symbols, and this symbol represents a synthetic or not naturally occurring. That's what synthetic means. It's not naturally occurring, so it would be neptunium. Okay, moving on to the next section, 1, 2, and 3 on the next page, 287, 1, 2, 3, and 4, sorry. It says, identify which element is the most metallic, okay? And don't forget the trends in the periodic table as if it moves from right to left and downward, it increases in its metallic properties. So the one that would be most to the left would be the most metallic. So let's remember that. If we look here, potassium is most to the left, and that would be the correct answer on that one. Okay. Identify which element is the least malleable. Okay, so we're using these again. So these potassium, calcium, scandium, and titanium. Those are all. And what we want to do is look for the one that's the least malleable. And the least malleable, that's a metallic property, would be the one on the right, which is titanium. Don't forget, because metallic properties increase this way, so they would obviously decrease in the opposite direction. Okay, on the periodic table, metallic properties increase from, okay, so don't forget we talked about it from right to left and then from top to bottom. So we just have to look at right to left and top to bottom is D. Okay, Angela wants to develop a new series of pots and pans for use in cooking. Which property of metals would be most concerned about? He wants to cook, so he wants to conduct heat. So F or A would be the correct answer. He would need conductivity. Obviously, if he was in the manufacturing process, he might look for malleability, but the ultimate goal is to have something that conducts heat well so that you can cook well with it. Okay. Next section. Question 1 talks about the periodic table again, which is what we have to understand. Use the periodic table to identify which group the noble gases belong. We talked about this as that last group with the full octet, and don't forget that's the 8A column or group or family, so we know that it's this one, so it's 18. Okay, identify which element is a metalloid, and what you had to remember was when you're looking along the periodic table, The metals are over, the non-metals are over here. The metals are over here. And right in between are the metalloids, okay? So, aluminum is a metal. Arsenic, oh, there's arsenic there. Carbon is a non-metal, and helium is a non-metal. So arsenic would be the best choice there because it's in that diagonal row that identifies the metalloids, or the ones that are sort of halfway between a metal and a non-metal. Non-metals are often used as insulating materials because they do not conduct heat and electricity. That's why we use them for insulators. How do halogens differ from noble gases? Okay, so don't forget halogens are those on group 17, and those are the ones that react with metals to form salts. Okay, so halogens are metalloids. That's not true. Halogens are non-metals. Halogens are semiconductors. No. Halogens are solid at room temperature. And halogens form compounds, whereas noble gases generally do not. That's what we need to do. Because these guys, don't forget, they combine with other things. Remember, they have that the 7 electrons, so they want to fill their octet, so they generally form compounds with other